SpaceX just filed the biggest IPO in history. $2 trillion valuation, $75 billion raised, and I need to tell you something nobody else is saying. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this IPO is different, why it's risky, and whether you should actually buy it when it goes live next month. Everyone's talking about SpaceX right now. Your friend who knows nothing about stocks, asking if he should buy. Your dad who only owns bonds, suddenly wants space exposure. And look, I get it. SpaceX is incredible. They launch more rockets than every other country combined. They're sending satellites, astronauts, and cargo into orbit every single week. Starlink has 8 million paying customers. They're providing internet to remote villages, ships at sea, planes in the sky. The product actually works, and people love it. So when news dropped that this thing's going public at a $2 trillion valuation, the internet went crazy. Investment forums exploded. Everyone wants a piece of the future. This would be the largest IPO in human history, bigger than Saudi Aramco, bigger than Alibaba. $75 billion raised in a single day. But here's where it gets interesting. I actually read the entire IPO filing, all 300 pages, and what I found? It's not what you think. Let's start with the good news. SpaceX brought in $18.7 billion in revenue last year. That's up 33% from the year before. Real growth. They dominate the commercial space industry. More than half of all orbital launches worldwide come from SpaceX. NASA depends on them. The military depends on them. Starlink is genuinely changing lives. Farmers getting high-speed internet for the first time. Emergency responders staying connected during disasters. It's real value, real customers, real money. On paper, this looks like the investment of a lifetime. You're getting in on the ground floor of the company that's literally taking humanity to Mars. What could go wrong? Well, let me show you page 117 of that filing. Right there in black and white. SpaceX lost $4.9 billion last year. Not broke even, not small losses. $4.9 billion evaporated. And it gets worse. First quarter of 2026, another $4.3 billion gone. Now you're thinking, wait a second, how do you make $19 billion in revenue but lose $5 billion? Where's all the money going? Two words, xAI. Elon's artificial intelligence company that he merged into SpaceX earlier this year. That's where your money's burning, billions into data centers and chips. Before the merger, sources say SpaceX was making $8 billion in profit every year. Profitable, successful, a money-printing machine for rockets and satellites. Then they bought xAI, added Twitter, started building massive AI infrastructure, and boom, suddenly you're underwater, $5 billion in losses, replacing $8 billion in profits. Think about this. You're buying stock in a rocket company, but you're actually funding an AI experiment that's losing billions. Did anyone mention that in the hype? Here's the number that scared me. Accumulated deficit. That means total losses since the company started. Are you ready? $41.3 billion in the hole. Now, before you panic, Tesla had losses for years before it became profitable. Growth companies burn cash. That's normal. But here's what's not normal. The control structure. Elon Musk owns 85% of the voting power. You get Class A shares with 1 vote. Elon gets Class B shares with 10 votes each. You're not buying power, you're renting hope. This means Elon can't be fired, can't be voted out, can't be overruled. The only person who can remove Elon Musk from SpaceX is Elon Musk. 3 major pension funds already sent letters complaining. They manage over $1 trillion combined. They're saying this governance structure is dangerous. Too much power, zero accountability. But wait, there's more. The filing says SpaceX faces 38 pages of risk factors, rocket explosions, regulatory issues, lawsuits. Elon's divided attention managing 6 companies. Okay, so we've covered the losses and the control issues. Now let's talk about the valuation, because this is where it gets really interesting. $2 trillion. That's what they want this company to be worth. Let me put that in perspective for you. That's more valuable than Amazon, more valuable than Google. They're asking you to pay 125 times revenue. Most tech companies trade at 5 to 10 times. Even Tesla at its peak was 30 times. Warren Buffett won't touch anything over 20 times earnings. This is asking you to pay 125 times sales, not profit, sales, and they're losing money. Now, I'm not saying SpaceX isn't amazing. I'm not saying it won't be worth $2 trillion someday. I'm saying the price today is betting on perfection. Remember WeWork? 9 weeks after IPO, down 60%. Remember Uber? Down 40% first year. Companies with sky-high valuations usually crash back to reality. Here's what I would do if I were you, and I'm not your financial advisor, but this is what makes sense to me. First, wait. Don't buy on day one. IPOs almost always drop after the initial hype. Remember, lockup period ends in 1 year. That's when insiders can sell. Guess what happens then? Second, if you absolutely must buy space exposure, there are other ways. Defense contractors who work with SpaceX, satellite component makers, suppliers, they're profitable now. Third, never put more than 5% of your portfolio into any single stock, especially one losing billions. Diversification isn't boring, it's smart. It's how you survive. Fourth, if you're thinking about throwing $500 at it just for fun, fine. But know you're gambling, not investing. You're buying a lottery ticket for Mars. Fifth, educate yourself. Read the actual filing, all 300 pages. Don't trust headlines. Don't trust hype. Don't even trust me. Do your own research. Look, I know FOMO is real. Everyone's talking about it. You don't want to miss out. But missing out on losses is actually winning. Patience beats panic. The smartest investors I know, they're not rushing in. They're watching, waiting, letting the hype settle, seeing if SpaceX can actually turn those losses into profits. And here's the thing about Elon. He's brilliant. He's changed industries. But he's also running Tesla, Twitter/X, Neuralink, Boring Company, and now this. How divided is his attention? The filing lists dozens of ongoing lawsuits, regulatory battles, environmental concerns. Any one of these could derail the stock. That's 38 pages of things that could go wrong. So here's my final take. SpaceX is doing incredible things, revolutionary things, but incredible companies can still be overpriced stocks. Those are two different things. Your job isn't to make Elon Musk richer. Your job is to build wealth for your family, protect your future, make smart choices, not exciting ones. If SpaceX proves me wrong, great. You can buy in 6 months from now, a year from now. The opportunity won't disappear, but if it crashes, you just saved yourself thousands. Look, I'm not here to tell you what to do with your money, but I am here to give you the truth they're not putting in the headlines. The IPO is massive. The risk is massive too. You know what's better than catching a rocket to the moon? Building wealth steadily, safely, consistently. Boring beats broke every single time. That's the real secret. If you learned something today, hit subscribe. I'm breaking down every major investing story so you don't have to read 300-page filings. See you in 2 days. Stay smart.